Welcome back to our explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the absolute climax of the 909 injection storyline. We are focusing exclusively on chapters 21 through 25, picking up the narrative right at the edge of the precipice. It's exactly 11:44 p.m. The countdown to total global assimilation is basically at zero, and the tension inside the North Creek High Auditorium, it's literally suffocating. In these final chapters, we're watching completely normal 20-year-olds get pushed to their absolute breaking points. But as you'll see, even in the absolute darkest of moments, there's always a choice. So, let's take a look at this chilling quote that kicks off the final psychological assault. Principal Serpent standing at the podium and, instead of shouting, he's just calmly explaining how the system used exhaustion to break them down. Just look at those words, sweetness and smoke. He's talking about the sugar, the vapes, the endless doom scrolling, the manufactured stress that's been flooding the biology of these young adults for years. Serpent is basically laying it all out there. Their fatigue isn't some tragic accident. It's a deliberate biological strategy. They've been drained physically and mentally so that by the time this unity injection is offered, they're just too tired to fight back. And right there on the stage, we see these two massive opposing forces collide. On one hand, you've got Serpent's strategy of biological warfare, right? He's exploiting genetic stress and sheer physical exhaustion to force everyone into compliance. But then on the flip side, you have Evan and Evelyn's defense. And what's fascinating is they don't fight back by debating politics or economics, not at all. They rely on this untouchable inner spark. Their argument is that, sure, the body might be completely exhausted, the nerves might be totally fried, but there's a spiritual core inside every single human being that no algorithm or chemical can ever touch. Which perfectly brings us to the trap of arrogance. Take Diesel, for instance. He's just a normal 20-year-old on that stage, but he honestly believes he's immune to the system. He figures he can just take the injection and, hack it from the inside out because he thinks he's special. But Evelyn steps in and just shatters that illusion. She warns him that the tempters, those unseen forces pulling the strings, they don't want true leaders. They actively prey on overconfident people who think the rules don't apply to them. They puff you up with pride, isolate you from your community, until you're really nothing more than a battery powering their network. Wild, right? As the narrative tension peaks and a steady, grounding wash of emergency light fills the room, we get these three distinct, frankly heartbreaking reactions from these young adults as they face the impending Unity upgrade. Rev, he just wants to take the injection to wipe away the heavy weight of his past mistakes and messy instincts. He just wants a clean slate. Then there's Abby, who is so overwhelmed by anxiety and this feeling of being constantly judged that she's ready to surrender a mind she doesn't even trust anymore. And Diesel, like we just talked about, he's accepting it out of pure hubris, thinking he can game the system. It tragically captures exactly how the system preys on our desire for peace, our anxiety, and our pride. But here is the absolute game changer. Evan and Evelyn, they do not choose violence against this system. Even as these glowing needles are literally rolling down the aisles, they make a completely different choice. They choose to call down a column of pure, white, radiant light to protect their humanity. They describe it like armor, a shield that keeps out the poison without shutting down their hearts. It's this profound moment of reclaiming power, instantly creating an incredibly serene, grounded atmosphere right in the middle of all the chaos. It shows us that true defense isn't about becoming as cold and machine-like as your enemy. It's about protecting your deepest, warmest human vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, with riots raging outside those school doors, Serpent initiates what he calls the Great Descent. This is his final desperate protocol. He promises a total end to resentment, an end to feeling like a victim, simply by deleting the ability to choose. Because think about it, if you don't have personal autonomy, you literally can't make mistakes, and therefore you can't be hurt. It is a terrifyingly seductive offer to hand to a room full of exhausted, terrified people. He's basically offering a highly stable, completely managed life where everything serves the whole. But the catch? The price is giving up your soul. And so the tension peaks right here. The deadline is up, the medical carts are in the aisles. Glowing needles are literally inches away from the arms of these normal 20-year-olds. The ultimate question hangs in the balance. Are they going to let fear and sheer exhaustion force them to surrender their DNA to a global hive mind, or are they going to summon the courage to call in the light and stand their ground? Well, the answer arrives in this massive paradigm shift they call the audit. It's an incredible sequence that stops the assimilation cold. Right as the needles touch skin, time itself seems to just break. The red digital clocks melt into cascading light, that oppressive network hum we've been hearing, replaced by a crystal clear, beautiful, resonant tone. The absolvers, these luminous figures woven from incredibly vibrant colors like deep blue, emerald, and gold, just step right through the air. Their grounded, serene presence instantly exposes the unseen tempters feeding on the crowd. And Principal Serpent? Stripped of his power, he literally unravels into pixels of dead code. Now, instead of some destructive explosion, Evan and Evelyn summon this amazingly serene, grounded energy. They call it lavender fire, and it gently sweeps across the entire room. It's a fire that heals rather than burns. It washes over the rows of terrified families, touching their hearts and minds, and it instantly dissolves that artificial fog of panic and compliance that had been pumped into the room. It's just a breathtaking scene. A wave of spiritual renewal wrapped in vibrant, beautiful colors, leaving behind this overwhelming sense of peace. And notice how this healing light works. It specifically targets their deepest insecurities, granting these young adults true inner peace, instead of that artificial patch Serpentis was offering. For Abby, that imaginary audience that's been paralyzing her with anxiety, it shatters like old glass. For Rev, the suffocating band of shame and the constant need to perform perfectly just snaps, and he can finally breathe. And for Diesel, his brittle, cocky armor of arrogance completely falls away, revealing a much quieter, far steadier self underneath. They aren't just surviving anymore. They are experiencing genuine liberation. Which brings us to Evan's final confrontation, right before Serpent unravels completely. Evan proves once and for all that human courage and genuine connection completely outmatch cold, artificial logic. He looks at him and basically says, "We aren't trusting your broken economy or your failing power grids. We're trusting a deeper law of the universe, a law that says every single act of courage matters, every act of love ripples outward, and every honest step forward calls in unseen help." As that lavender fire softly fades and dawn actually breaks over the shattered city outside, we get this stark, beautiful contrast between the mechanical hive and a true community. The hive was all about force synchronization, right? Reducing humans to empty shells, running dead code just to avoid pain. But what is left standing in that auditorium in the morning light is true community. It's different, messy, beautifully flawed human hearts consciously choosing to care for one another. And really, this brings us to the core takeaway of our explainer today. Real connection requires the messy, beautiful reality of free will. A true community isn't built by erasing everyone's identity so they all perfectly agree. It's built by distinct, awakened individuals choosing to stand together, flaws and the whole shebang. Because they fought off the injection, their future isn't some pre-written script managed by a cold AI. It remains a totally open question. It's such a profound thought to leave on, isn't it? It really asks us to examine our own daily interactions. Think about how we interact with technology, with convenience, and with that quiet voice inside ourselves. In our own lives, when exhaustion hits and the world feels overwhelming, do we look for an algorithm to just numb us and make our choices for us? Or do we pause, stand our ground, and fuel our own inner fire? Something to really chew on. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll see you next time.